My name is Maxine Davis. I'm 33 years old, a long-haul truck driver who knows every diner off I-80 by the smell of the fryer. I sleep in my cab more than I sleep in a real bed. There's always a thermos of black coffee wedged beside the seat, a paper atlas in the glove box, and a tiny notebook with crooked handwriting where I track miles, fuel, and reminders like call the tire place in Omaha. People think truckers live free. The truth is, freedom feels a lot like being alone with fluorescent lights and diesel fumes for company. But the road is quiet, predictable. Trucks don't lie to you, and engines don't pretend they love you while they drain you dry. Families do that. In my family, I've always been the mover, the fixer, the one with big shoulders. That's my mother's phrase, spoken like a compliment, used like a command. My father says I was born serious. My younger brother Ethan says I'm dramatic. And yet somehow I'm the one who ends up lifting tables, covering bills, co-signing loans, and patching the holes Ethan makes on his way through life. Ethan's the golden child. Flashy, loud, allergic to responsibility. Mom says he has charm. Dad says he needs direction. I say he leaves messes behind for me to clean, then tells stories about those messes like they're heroic adventures. People laugh. Ethan basks, and I stand in the background, making sure the floor doesn't collapse. This year, my birthday landed on a Saturday between runs. I had a rare 34-hour reset. Mom insisted, "Rest here, honey. We'll celebrate properly." Properly always means her house, their rules, my discomfort. I'd planned to nap in my sleeper. Instead, I drove 40 minutes to the suburbs with a store-bought cake because Ethan forgot his wallet again. I also brought paper plates because I always bring the thing everyone forgets. The house smelled like lemon cleaner and roast chicken. A plastic tablecloth with balloons was taped to the dining table. Mom fluttered around like she was staging a commercial. Dad watched TV but muted when I walked in, nodding like that counted as affection. Ethan arrived late, sunglasses still on indoors, like he was shielding himself from the truth. He carried nothing but a story about networking at a bar. His son, my nephew Max, ran around in dinosaur socks. I bought those socks last Christmas. I remember because Ethan said, "You didn't need to spend that much," but then borrowed money the same afternoon. We sang, I blew out candles, I sliced cake, handed plates. The last piece had my name in blue frosting. I held it toward Max. "Happy birthday, buddy," I said gently. Max looked at Ethan for a cue. Ethan smirked, an expression so small and so loud at the same time. Max took the plate in both hands. Then he turned it upside down like a pancake and dropped the cake. Blue frosting splattered across the tile, my boot, and even the dog's ear. Max giggled. Ethan laughed harder. "Go ahead," Max said proudly, repeating Ethan's smirk. "Eat it from there." For 5 seconds, the room froze. Mom gasped, and then did that tiny laugh she uses to avoid conflict. Dad grunted something meaningless. Ethan shrugged. "Relax, Maxine, he's joking." But it wasn't a joke. It was permission. It was hierarchy. It was Ethan teaching his son I was beneath him, that I would always bow my head and take it. I grabbed paper towels, knelt, cleaned the mess. The dog sniffed my hand like he understood more than the humans did. I stood, washed my hands, and said, "It's fine." "See?" Ethan told Max. "Aunt Max doesn't mind." Everyone moved on. Chicken, potatoes, forced conversation. But something inside me clicked tight, one notch closer to breaking. When I put my jacket on to leave, Max ran up and whispered, "Sorry." His eyes were wide, confused. "Daddy says you don't mind things." "It's fine," I said again, but the word tasted metallic this time. I drove back to the city with sugar drying on my boot, stiff like old glue, parked the rig, climbed into the cab and sat on the bunk's edge, staring at my hands. They were steady, too steady. The cab smelled like diesel, pine air freshener, and loneliness. Dad used to rest in a truck with me when I was little, the only time we spent quiet together. Maybe that's why the cab feels more like home. I showered at the terminal, microwaved noodles, and leaned against the lounge window, watching forklifts beep around like impatient insects. I didn't know that in an hour, my life would snap clean in half. At 9:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "We've chosen to sever all contact. Stay away forever." It looked like it belonged in a legal letter, not a family chat. A second later, Ethan liked the message. A red heart next to forever. Cute. I typed a reply, erased it, typed again. erased again. Finally, the words that stayed weren't emotional. They weren't a threat. They were a plan I'd been too afraid to say aloud. Removing my name from every loan tomorrow. I sent it, set my phone face down. The screen blinked and vibrated like it was trying to get my attention, but I didn't look. I made instant coffee instead. Bitter. Perfect. By midnight, the group chat had exploded. 53 missed calls. Mom. What does that mean? Dad. Maxine pickup. Ethan. You better not. You can't do this. Mom again. Do not destroy this family. A voice memo came through from Ethan, over a minute long. I didn't press play. I put the phone aside, pulled the cab curtain shut, and slept like someone had quietly removed a pallet from my chest. The next morning, I walked into the bank at 8:59 a.m., a folder under my arm. Contracts, policies, notes scribbled at truck stops. I'd built this folder slowly, secretly, like preparing for a storm no one believed was coming. I didn't know how ugly the fallout would get. I didn't know the things my family would say. I didn't know who would stand with me and who would crumble. All I knew was this. I wasn't going to let them use me anymore. I wasn't going to be the mule. And with one signature at a time, I was going to take my life back. The bank smelled like paper, printer ink, and tired coffee. The scent of people trying to untangle things they should have walked away from years ago. I sat in the waiting area, my folder clenched in my hands, my knee bouncing like the engine of a truck stuck in idle. A woman with wire-framed glasses called my name. Maxine Davis? I stood. That's me. She introduced herself as Carla, a loan specialist. Her voice carried the steadiness of someone who'd seen hundreds of small disasters walk through her door. How can I help you today? I sat across from her, opened my folder, and said the words like I'd rehearsed them in every rest stop across the Midwest. I want to remove my name from every loan, every card, anything with shared responsibility, wherever policy allows. Carla blinked, surprised, but not shocked. Okay, she said calmly. Let's take it one by one. She typed. I breathed. Papers shuffled. My phone buzzed nonstop inside my jacket pocket, like a trapped insect, but I ignored it. First, Ethan's car loan. You can request removal, Carla explained, but he'll have to qualify solo or replace you with another cosigner. He wouldn't, not without begging, not without blaming me. Proceed, I said. Next, the line of credit for his inventory when his t-shirt brand was apparently about to blow up. You can revoke your guarantee, Carla said. We'll review it, freeze any increases. Proceed. Then the joint store card Ethan opened in my presence because there was a sale on family electronics, and he charged a TV for Mom's living room while saying, We'll both use it. I didn't even live there. You can close it to new charges, Carla said, and establish a payoff plan. I initialed, signed, signed again. Each signature felt like a door latch closing, quiet but final. My phone buzzed again, and again, and again. When we finished, Carla slid copies of the documents toward me. You're doing the right thing, she said gently. Some people need to learn financial boundaries the hard way. My throat tightened. I nodded. When I stepped outside, cold air slapped my face. My phone buzzed like it was short-circuiting. I finally looked. 23 texts, 18 missed calls, 7 voice memos. Mom. What did you do? Dad. Pick up. Ethan. You have no idea what you just caused. Mom again. This is petty, childish. You're punishing Max. Ethan. Fix this now. I didn't respond. Instead, I drove to my parents' house because I knew they'd be waiting. Mom opened the door before I even knocked. Her face was already tight, like she'd practiced the expression for the past hour. Inside, Dad sat hunched at the kitchen table. Ethan paced like a caged animal, holding his phone as though it were a legal weapon. Mom pointed at me before I could speak. Explain yourself. I followed policy, I said. I removed myself from things I never should have been part of. Ethan laughed, sharp and ugly. You're soft, Maxine. This isn't about cake. And I'm not soft, I replied quietly. I'm done. Dad tried the voice he used when I was a kid. Honey, be reasonable. If you step away... Then Ethan's credit is his, I finished. Just like mine is mine. Mom's eyes hardened. We raised you better than this. You raised me to work, I said. To fix. And you turned that into my job title. Ethan snapped. You love being the hero. No, I said, feeling the truth settle like a weight finally put down. I love quiet. Helping was the only way to get some. Undo it, Ethan jabbed his finger. Right now. No. Max will suffer, Ethan said, tone shifting into guilt mode. Then teach him better, I replied. He'll learn more from what you do than what I pay for. Mom's voice dropped to a warning whisper. If you walk away from us, don't come back. You told me last night to stay away forever, I said. I'm finally listening. Silence, dense and choking. I walked out, closed the door behind me, didn't look back. The first week after that felt like paperwork and nothingness. I faxed forms from truck stops, checked my credit obsessively, changed passwords, cleaned my cab, ate real meals instead of vending machine dinners. My boyfriend, Jordan, called one night while I was parked just outside Cheyenne. You sound lighter, he said cautiously. I feel lighter. You know I've been telling you for years you deserve boundaries, right? Yeah, I whispered. But hearing something and believing it are two different things. He hesitated. Are you okay? Really okay? I stared at the trucks slowly rolling by, their engines humming a kind of collective heartbeat. I think I'm becoming okay. Jordan sighed, not frustrated, not impatient, relieved. He'd watched my family bleed me dry for years. And stayed anyway. That had to count for something. He cleared his throat. You know, my ex texted me today. My stomach tightened. Your ex-girlfriend? Yeah, she said she saw your brother's rant on Facebook. She asked if we were okay. I rubbed my forehead. Ethan and social media were a toxic combination. What did you tell her? I asked. The truth, he said. That you finally stood up for yourself. She said she's proud of you. That surprised me. His ex had never been unkind, just distant. But she'd seen firsthand how badly my family drained me, and had once quietly warned me, if you don't set boundaries, they'll drown you. Maybe she'd been right. Midweek, Carla called with updates. The store account is officially closed, she said. The line of credit is frozen. And your brother has 30 days to qualify for the car loan on his own. Thank you, I said, and meant it. That night, Mom sent one final text. You don't leave family in the snow. I stared at it for a long moment, then typed, Love doesn't require debt. I won't carry yours. This time, the silence that followed wasn't frightening. It was clear. Mine. 2 days later, Ethan showed up at my apartment. I left the chain on the door. You think that stops family? He asked. It stops you, I replied. They'll repo the car, he warned. You'll ruin me. Get a cheaper one. I have a son. So did Dad. He still worked. His jaw twitched. Just co-sign once. No. Say it nicer. I won't, I said, and I won't explain it again. He stepped back, sneering. You'll regret this. Better than living as your wallet. He called me something small, something meant to wound. I closed the door before the sound finished leaving his mouth. 2 days later, Dad texted. Proud of you. Don't tell your mother. I stared at it, stunned. Thanks, I wrote back. He sent a thumbs up emoji. Small, quiet, but real. When the notices hit, Ethan sent screenshots. Fix this. Then a photo of Max holding a note. I miss you. I whispered, I miss you too, buddy. But typed nothing. Because Ethan could fix his own life. Because I was done. 2 weeks passed. The group chat went silent. Not in peace, but in that way storms do when they pull back just long enough to gather force. Every morning, I half expected another explosion, but the quiet held. I used the time to breathe, something I hadn't done fully in years. One morning, parked beside a lake outside Rapid City, I stepped out of my cab with a takeout coffee and sat on a cold wooden bench. Ducks broke the glassy water with slow ripples. The world felt still. My world, for once, didn't feel like it was collapsing. I pulled out my notebook. Usually I filled it with practical things, fuel logs, tire wear, reminders. This time I wrote, dentist, new boots, a real day off, take Jordan someplace quiet, learn to rest. The list looked strange, like it didn't belong to me. For years, my lists were pay Ethan's fee, call hospital, send money, cover late charge. Seeing my own needs in ink felt foreign, maybe even rebellious. My phone buzzed, a text from Jordan. Jordan, thinking about you. Don't forget you're allowed to be happy. Me, trying, slowly. He replied with a heart, not the performative kind Ethan used, the quiet, steady kind. I sipped my coffee. The lake glimmered. For the first time in years, I pictured a future that didn't include begging my own family to treat me with basic respect. That night, while I fueled up at a truck stop outside Billings, my phone buzzed again. Mom. I hesitated, then opened it. Mom, your brother is a wreck. His credit is ruined. They're threatening repossession. He could lose his job. Mom, do something, Maxine, please. Mom, you know he's not like you. Mom, he tries. I stood there in the cold, the pump humming beside me. For the first time, her pleas didn't stab into me. I typed, "Me, trying isn't currency, responsibility is." She read it, didn't reply. 3 days later, Jordan and I finally had a quiet evening together. He'd driven out to meet me at a small motel near the Wyoming border. We sat on the hood of his car, sharing fries from a paper tray, the sky turning a dusk purple. "Are you sure you're okay?" he asked again. I nodded. "It's strange. I keep waiting to feel guilty, but I don't. I feel relief." Jordan leaned closer, shoulder warm against mine. "That's because you didn't walk away from your family. You walked away from abuse." I swallowed. "Is that what it was?" "Yes," he said softly. "They only loved you when you were useful." I didn't answer. I couldn't. Admitting it out loud felt like pulling a thorn from skin grown around it. Jordan added, "My ex once told me your brother would drain you forever if you let him. She wasn't wrong." I huffed a laugh, and she has good instincts. Jordan smiled. "She also said you deserve someone who actually supports you." My chest tightened. "Like you?" "Like me," he said, touching my hand. "If you'll let me." I didn't trust myself to speak, so I nodded. He understood. The next morning, Ethan's name flashed on my phone. I let it ring out. Then again. Then a third time with a voicemail. "Maxine, they're taking the car. I can't get to work. You've ruined everything. Call me." I didn't. At noon, another message arrived. This one a screenshot of the repossession notice, followed by, "Ethan, fix this or never talk to me again." My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then I put the phone face down and kept driving. A week later, I hauled a refrigerated load toward Denver when a call from Dad came through. Not a missed call, not a text, an actual call. I answered. His voice was tired, thinner than I remembered. "Honey, your mother is upset." "She's always upset," I said. He sighed. "Ethan's car is gone. He's panicking. She thinks maybe you could just—" "No, Dad." Silence stretched across the line. Then he said something that almost made me pull onto the shoulder. "I'm proud of you, Maxine. You needed to do this. I wish it didn't have to be so hard." My hands tightened on the wheel. "Thank you." "Don't tell your mother I said that." "I won't." We hung up, and just like that, a small wound in me knit together. Later that evening, parked at a small truck stop near Aurora, I finally listened to the lone voice memo Ethan had sent days earlier. His voice was frantic. "Maxine, listen, you can't do this to me. I have Max. I need a car. I need credit. What kind of sister leaves her family like this? What kind of person turns their back?" Then a pause, a change in tone. "You think you're better than us? You're not. You're pathetic, a truck driver, a mule. That's what you are." I let the memo finish, then deleted it. At dawn, another text came, this one a photo of Max holding a paper sign in messy crayon. "I miss you, Aunt Max." My throat tightened. I whispered, "I miss you too, buddy," to the empty cab. But I didn't respond, because Ethan had used that child as leverage too many times. I couldn't save Max by enabling his father. 2 days later, I parked my truck near a small trailhead in Colorado and hiked just far enough to feel the silence vibrate against my ears. When I sat on a boulder overlooking the valley, I felt something I didn't expect. Peace, the kind that doesn't ask permission, the kind that grows in the space left behind when chaos moves out. My phone buzzed once more, a final message from Mom. "Mom, he abandoned us." Ethan liked her message. I stared at it. The word abandoned used to cut deep. But now? Now it felt untrue. Because you can't abandon people who never let you belong. I typed one last reply. "Me. You didn't lose me. You lost your control." "Me. I won't be coming back." I hit send. Then I turned my phone off, breathed in the cold mountain air, and let the quiet settle around me like a warm blanket. For the first time in years, the silence felt like mine.